Hello everyone, welcome to Black Heaven, a necromantic dating sim. Now this is still a demo, so what you see right now might change later on during development. Anyways, this was developed and published by Occult's Triangle Lab, and it doesn't have a full release date as of yet. But I quite like the music right now. So anyways, let's go ahead and start the game. This is the extended demo for Black Heaven, a necromantic dating sim. You have the option to start from the beginning or skip to a later chapter. Some elements may be changed or revised to the final game. This demo is meant for an 18+ audience. Please note that this game is under development. This placeholder image is used for some backgrounds. I'm going to start from the beginning. 3 days. It's been 3 days since you arrived at the library of Gizaron, and you can already feel your body dying, 1 inch at a time. Your fingertips have become dull and black, and you can't seem to get enough air into your lungs. Across your skin, isolated black splotches have merged together, becoming a living tapestry of cancer. As you feverishly rifle through the shelves, searching the ancient spines for books on diseases, your mind begins to slip in and out of consciousness. Minutes and hours pass in a blur, until finally you collapse against the shelves and roll onto your back. You look up at the cavernous roof of the library, hung with stalactites. Thousands of tiny fireflies float between the spikes of rock, casting dim light on the shelves below. This library used to be one of the ancient wonders of the subterranean land known as the Sunless Kingdoms, but now it's just a pile of moldy paper. You've heard that they tried to steal the entrances to underground against the sick when the plague began. It had given artificers enough time to craft the first filter masks, but it wasn't enough. The plague still made it down here. Now the only ones left alive are the people like you, resistant to disease, though not immune. Your mask has kept your body from breathing in more of the disease, but it can only help so much. Even worse than the cancerous plague spraying through your body, however, are the memories. There was a time when you were just beginning your tutelage as a scholar of immortality at the Pt.1 Academy. Everything was so bright, so promising. When you open your eyes again, you're sitting at a low table in the sunlit room. Scrolls hang from the walls, each one featuring illustrations from ancient manuscripts on immortality. A black pot of tea is sitting on the table, and across from you sits Rue. She's dressed the way you remember her. Dented silver buttons on her collar, the uniform for instructors of the Pt.1 Academy. Rue shuffles some papers around, her gaze refusing to meet yours. Slowly, the memory falls into place. This is the first time you met Rue after your entrance exam. This was your first day as an initiate at Pt.1, the day you would meet your mentor and speak about your course of study. You had been so nervous to meet your new mentor. You had expected someone wise, older, confident. Rue was none of those things.
Uzo?
Rue's voice jerks you out of your thoughts.
How are you finding the academy?
It's big. It's kind of confusing to my way around, but I'm getting the hang of it.
I see.
Rue shifts in her seat. She shuffles around your documents, has a buying time before sending something else. You remember what you thought. All those years ago, she's too young to be an instructor here, much less your mentor. Still, they told you she would be the one tutoring you for your first year. I really like the music right now. It's quite nice.
What subject are you most interested in studying?
Don't remember what you told her back then. What did you want to study? Let's see, We were on let's see, what were we on? Maybe senescence and regeneration? The study of senescence and regeneration is concerned with the art of crafting, creating, and regenerating one's flesh, as well as staving off its decay. Those who practice this art are remarkably resilient and can endure lethal injuries and diseases. This is what I studied at Itsun. When you learned about the art of physiomancy as a teenager, you watched the master of physiomancer rip her own arm off in demonstration. Instead of grimacing in pain, the woman's face was serene, radiant. After a few seconds, the blood stopped dripping, and before your eyes you saw the fibers of muscle start to grow like worms, interweaving and tightening until her boneless arm was whole again. Your skin stitched itself across the flesh like a sweater, until not a trace of blood or gore was visible. Finally, the whole arm stiffened as the bones rapidly calcified to fill the cavity inside. After 2 entrancing minutes, the mage flexed her fingers and moved her arm in a wide, windmilling arc. It was the most awesome display of magic he had ever seen. From that day on, you decided you would learn the art of bodily regeneration. You realize you've been lost in thought for a few seconds, and that Rue has been looking at you the whole time. Regeneration.
Well, we have an excellent curricula for that.
A servant arrives to pour both of you tea, and you're left in silence as they fill your cups. You sip your tea slowly, remembering how you wanted to take it last back then. Anything was better than continuing this extremely awkward conversation. When you set down your cup, you see Rue drop her eyes from you. She was clearly watching you sip her tea. Instead of speaking, she begins fiddling with a small piece of paper. You look at the window at the beautiful campus, reflect on your time there. You were nervous when you stepped foot in Itsun. You weren't from a wealthy or famous family, and this was supposed to be an elite academy. From the first time you met your classmates, you felt awkward and out of place. People looked at you differently, and you hoped you could live up to expectations. But when you look back on your memories of Itsun, you remember the pleasant things most clearly. You saw a ripping sound and look over at Rue, as carefully ripped her piece of paper along a straight line. She freezes when she sees you looking at her and begins to speak rapidly.
One of the interesting things I discovered when studying here is the paper lotus problem. Have you heard of it?
No. What is it?
The idea is that when you fold a paper lotus, you'll never perfectly line the folds, and each flaw will have a ripple effect on the next fold. In the end, one flaw will shape the outcome of the entire lotus. If you know how, you can see, or at least recognize, a person by the flaws in their lotuses. Because those flaws reflect their individual soul, as expressed through their physical form. She quickly folds the lotus, smoothing the creases and turning the paper as you watch. Finally, a pristine paper flower rests on the table. You inspect the flower from different angles, trying to spot some kind of asymmetry. It looks perfect. But it's not. If you magnified your vision, you'd see the tiny imperfections. The more you magnified it, the bigger those flaws would seem.
Well, Can anyone fold a perfect lotus?
That's the important question. For anyone to obtain perfection in any form, even in something as small as a paper lotus, they will need to align their body, mind, and soul with the principle of perfection. In that moment, they become perfect, at least in a sense. Maybe you could attain that for a moment, but eventually, you'd need to return to your normal, flawed state, like entropy.
Slowly, old concepts rise from your memory. The principle of perfection, entropy, metaphysical symmetry. You haven't thought about all those things in years. At the time, though, didn't know what Rue was talking about. Instead, you just asked for a piece of paper. Can I have a piece of that paper?
Oh, sure.
She hands you a piece. You gaze at the designs dyed into it. It's cloth-like paper, the kind that gets a little stiff when you fold it. You start to fold it in half, but stop. You hadn't learned how to fold a lotus yet. Originally, you tried something different. You take a small, sharp knife out of your pocket and start to cut small lines in the paper. As you cut, you keep talking. I think there can be beauty in our flaws. She frowns.
There's nothing beautiful about flaws by nature. If they were beautiful, they wouldn't be flaws.
I don't think that's right. They told instructors at my old academy that a perfect teacher is authoritative and professional. Those types of teachers always treat you like a student. If you came in here acting that way, I probably would have been intimidated. But instead, we're just sitting here talking like two normal people. And that makes me feel a lot more comfortable with you being my mentor. You look up and smile embarrassedly at Rue, who opens her mouth to speak. Instead, she breathes out a sigh of relief and smiles.
I'm glad to hear that. I've never taken on students before, and this is not my usual... I'm not usually comfortable with teaching new people.
Rue watches you slice the cuts into paper. After a minute, she speaks again.
If you're trying to cut along the full lines to circumvent the problem in exact creases, it doesn't work.
You smile and don't say anything, remembering how the pattern cuts went. When you finish, you unfold the paper and reveal an intricate little snowflake. Rue's eyebrows rise, and she holds out her hand. You give her the snowflake and watch her face light up with a smile.
I never thought of cutting it like this.
It's the same sort of ripple effect. One little cut affects the whole design, right? She looks up at you and nods.
Yes, this is exactly what I was talking about. Can I keep it?
Sure. She looks down at her paper lotus and picks it up with her fingertips.
You can have this.
You take the lotus in your palm and cradle it, looking at it from all angles again. No matter how hard you look, you can't see the flaws in it. It's so small, so delicate in your hand. It'll only take a tiny amount of force to crush it, but that makes you marvel at it even more. When you look up from the lotus, you find Rue looking back at you. She hurriedly looks down, embarrassed. After speaking with Rue, you had your first session of martial arts, which was required for initiates. You'd never done much physical exercise as a scholar, so you were a bit nervous. Sitting on the hardwood floor in your new workout uniform, you notice one girl's gaze never wavers from the instructor. Her back is straight as a post, and her face is dead serious. When the instructor calls for a volunteer, the girl's arm shoots up, her jaw set, and her eyes steely. The instructor points at her and motions for her to approach. The human body contains hidden depths and subtle dimensions of power. For example, when I ask Initiate Ito here to attack me, he motions for the girl to advance, and she rushes them with surprising ferocity.
She throws a punch, but in the blink of an eye, her feet leave the floor and her whole body is launched over the instructor's shoulder as he grips her arm and throws her. She lands hard, but she manages to get her legs under her and leap to her feet, apparently unfazed. The instructor nods to her and the girl sits back down. When it comes time to prepare after first exercises, you swallow hard when the instructor pairs you with that same girl. The first exercise is meant to loosen the wrists, and starts with both partners clasping each other's forearms, one partner with their palms up, the other with their palms down. You watch Ito tie the bandage on her arms and lay her hands, palm up. You gingerly grip her arms, and her fingers wrap around yours, gentle but firm. You notice the skin above her bandages is covered in green, black, and blue splotches, deep tissue bruises. When you raise your eyes to hers, she has that same dead serious look you saw before. Whoever has their hands at the bottom rotates their wrist. She lets go of your arm, moves her hand to the inside, then grips at the top of your arm, forcing you to flip your arms over. And then you do the same. You mimic her movements, twisting your wrist, moving to the inside of her arm and wrapping your fingers around her arm. You watch her hands make the motion again, her fingers spreading out and closing like the wings of a bird. Don't look at your hands, look at me. Startled, you raise your eyes to hers again. She has deep blue eyes, and you can tell all of her focus is on you. When you get more experienced, your hands will do this automatically. It becomes an instinct. You won't hesitate, you'll just do it naturally. You gaze into her eyes, feeling your fingers moving against her skin. You can feel her palms getting sweaty, but Ito doesn't seem to care. How long have you been a student here? 2 years. She says the words gravely, as if she were telling you how many years she has left to live. Wow. So, what's your focus of study? Physical augmentation. Her eyes never leave yours. It's starting to get to you. You've gone your whole life trying to divert your gaze from people's eyes out of respect or discomfort, but here, it seems like Ito doesn't even care that she's staring at you. What's that like? She spends an uncountable amount of time silent and still rotating around your arms. It's strangely hypnotic. Have you ever treaded water? Yeah, I've treaded water. Here, they have you tread water with a heavy brick in your arms, so you can only kick with your feet. It forces you to just keep your head above water. When you get good at that, they give you another brick. With 2 bricks, the only thought in your mind is try not to drown. Your head spends most of the time below the water instead of above it. All you can do is break water, take a quick gulp of air, then go back down. That's what augmentation training is like. You give a nervous laugh, but Ito doesn't smile. It seems like she's inspecting your soul, 1 inch at a time. Let's see. How did you get all those bruises? Sparring. You must be doing a lot of sparring. 4 sessions per day. You pick up on a hint of pride in the way she says it, as if that number is remarkably high. I'd hate to see your partner. They're over there. The one with the red sash. You turn your face away from Ito, spot a girl with a red sash practicing with another student using only her left arm. Her right arm is bandaged and splinted. I like Usagi, she's pretty cool. And, cool-headed. She's much more experienced than me. Her technique is sloppy. Her bones will reset in a day or 2. I haven't learned how to do that yet.
Do the bruises hurt? Should you have given them time to heal?
She gives a sharp exhale through her nose and tightly grips your arms. You can feel her iron grip begin to squeeze your bones. She narrows her eyes and smiles. Pain is part of learning anything. It reminds you what you still haven't mastered. That's enough warming up. Time for the next exercise.
Ito lets go of your wrists. Your arms fall back to your sides, and you're left with the ghostly feeling of her palms and the sweat cooling on your skin. After the martial arts session, you head to bathing chambers to wash the sweat and change back to your scholar's uniform. The next session was your first course in anatomy. As you walk into the room, the instructor hands you an apron, a pair of cloth gloves, and a porcelain mask to secure you around your mouth. You pile them on and stand against the wall with the other students, whose eyes are fixed on 12 tables set in rows. Each one has a corpse of a deer in it. The stench of rotting meat manages to penetrate your mask, making you gag a little. After a few minutes, the instructor addresses all of you. The human body is a wondrous and complicated thing, more complex than any clock, and more elegant than any work of art. Each organ has its place in the body. When he's finished with his lecture, he begins pairing pupils up and assigning them a table. He paired a freckled girl with red curly hair and long, pale fingers. She's pulled back her long hair in a loose ponytail, but loose strands seem to keep getting in the way.
Yeah, hello.
As the instructor begins going over the tools of your table, the procedure to remove the deer's organs, the girl picks up a small, short knife. You watch in amazement as she makes one clean cut down the center of the corpse's stomach, just deep enough to slice through her hide. The deer's muscles are laid bare. The girl begins making lines of short, precise cuts where the different muscle groups connect. You lean over to whisper to her, hoping the instructor doesn't notice.
What are you doing? We're supposed to wait until he... that's boring. I already know all the stuff. Here, hold this.
She hands you the knife, stained with congealed blood and yellowish fluid. She then picks up a stack of wooden trays and spreads them across the open table.
I'm gonna remove the heart. On these little chambers and flaps.
Initiate Elise, is there a problem with your specimen?
No, we're good. It's a good deer.
Then I would appreciate it if you refrain from speaking while I'm speaking.
Oh, yeah, sure, sorry.
As the instructor goes on, you watch the girl fidget impatiently with the tools laid out in front of her. Finally, the lecture is over and you're free to start examining your deer. The red-headed girl immediately grabs a different knife and picks up where she left off.
You look like you're a little sick. This is your first course in anatomy here?
Yeah, I've never done anything like this before. The girl slides her hand between the organs and pulls out a pile of intestines, which she hands it to you. You immediately drop them on one of the trays.
Totally green, huh? That's so. Once you get over the blood and stuff, it's easy. I heard that once we're 50-year students, we get to start working on our own bodies. I've always wanted to be a little taller.
Isn't messing with your own body kind of dangerous? You watch the girl deftly separate their organs from one another and sever the arteries connected to heart, one at a time.
Only if you don't know what you're doing.
What was your name again?
Oh, right, sorry.
She sets the heart on a tray and swings her head to get all of her hair behind her shoulder again, then reaches out with a gore-covered glove.
You can call me Lise. What's your name?
I'm Muzo.
Nice to meet ya. I'm starting artificial vessels for a soul here.
I'm guessing you know a lot about surgery and stuff, huh?
Yep. Spent a lot of time studying anatomy before I got here. I heard the students here were really serious, but it seems like most of them don't like to get their hands dirty.
How'd that affect the end? The regeneration? I think that means I get rude then. I kinda want either Izaki or Elise. Gotta remember that for next time.
She turns to you, green eyes seeming to focus on you for the first time. What about you? Do you care about getting your hands dirty?
Well, it doesn't bother me, I guess.
Lee smiles at you with bright white teeth. She lifts the hem of her school jacket, exposing her bare, freckled hip. Her stitches run across the skin, just above her kidney. Me neither. She starts to slice open the deer heart, the knife following the contours and muscles. You want to just put your hand right here? She guides her hand so it's gripping half of the heart. You hold it steady as she works, and soon the entire organ is laid out like a peeled orange. Lee starts pointing out the different structures of the heart, the ventricles, the chambers, the channels for the blood. Deer hearts are almost identical to human hearts, but they're bigger. Isn't that crazy? Something with 4 legs, a bunch of fur, same heart.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
You know, Haig's hearts are even more similar to ours. You can even use them for transplants.
She pats her apron just above your heart.
At the Temets, Lise finishes emptying the chest cavity of the deer.
You know, Lisa's kinda charming, in a interesting way. I like her.
You look around at the rest of the students and find that some of them have barely progressed beyond separating the muscles with their knives. I wish that you would have given us something interesting, like a cow. Deer are so simple. Cows have like 4 stomachs and bezoars.
You can't help but look at the gory tableau spread across the table and admire Lisa's skill, not to mention exuberance.
Despite some pools of blood and fluids, everything's laid out neatly on the trays, as if we were making a more baked cake. Watching her do all this with genuine excitement and nonchalance makes you feel like this wasn't such a big deal. Maybe all that dread and disgust was all in your head. When you open your eyes, the smell of blood and meat still lingers in your nostrils. Overhead, you can see the fireflies flowing between the stalactites of the library Gizarin. You can feel the hard stone floor beneath your back. You hear something wet move and feel something sting your chest. The smell of blood is stronger. Ah, you're awake. Unfortunate time for both of us. Something looms over you. A person. They're wearing a smooth, shiny metal helmet that covers their whole head. Looks like it's been molded to fit their skull, and has no eye holes. A complete set of human teeth has been built in the jaw of the helmet, giving it a terrifying grin. You raise your head from the ground and look down at your chest. Your jacket and shirt have been sliced down to the middle. You can see the skin on your chest has been peeled and pinned back with silver pins, like a butterfly on a board. Just some friendly advice here. Try not to scream. I was in the process of removing your lungs, and screaming is going to be, well, it's not going to be good for you. Who? What? You start trying to push yourself on your elbows, but the figure pushes you gently back down. I thought I checked your pulse, but looks like I was too hasty. With a haze of panic and horror, a thought occurs to you. This man is operating on your chest. He would have seen your heart pumping, wouldn't he? My heart? You should have seen I was alive. Oh, this? The man picks up a small wooden box and lets a blood-smeared heart out of it. You let your head fall back down to the floor. This guy knew you were alive. He just didn't care. Just kill me already. Harvest my organs. Whatever you want. I deserve it. Well, you're taking this better than I could have hoped. But I feel compelled to ask. Why do you want to die? I don't want to talk about it. Well, you got about 2 minutes before your body realizes it should be dead. I think that's a log in the first story. You look at this eyeless helmet blankly. The memories of your time at the academy flit through your head. Rue, Izagi, Elise. There's no doubt in your mind that they're dead by now. Everyone you know is gone, killed by the plague. It's all your fault. I was the one who started the plague. Me and my tutor ruined. Everyone's dying because of us. Now, that's a story I'd like to hear. You hesitate. You don't know this person at all. Digging up those memories now is almost more painful than dying. But something spurs you on. Maybe it's a deep-seated need to confess what you've done, or the desire to talk to someone, anyone about what happened. Ru Okazi, my tutor. She was researching how to regenerate flesh and grow it. She grew all kinds of organs. But eyes were her specialty. Just trying to find a way to make the body regenerate itself, so you would never age. But she was using herself as an experiment and something went wrong. And there the words begin to pour out of your mouth, as they do. Blood memories comes from them. You've never told anyone the story of what happened. There's no one to tell it to, and the guilt is more than you could bear. But now that you started, you can't stop talking. The 6 students, the pyres, above all, thousands of eyes. When you're done speaking, the man whistles inside his helmet. You know, I've ruined quite a few lives in my time, and most of them on purpose. But that's a drop in the bucket compared to you. You're an accomplice of genocide. Only a few people in the history can say that. Mind if I shake your hand? Just to tell people I've done it. The man offers his gloved, blood-stained hand. You look at his grinning helmet and get the feeling he's mocking you. You can call me no eyes. It's a pleasure. You reach for his hand, but you're too weak to lift it high enough. No eyes raise a finger, as if remembering. Alright, all your wins. Sit tight. I'll get you new ones. My compliments. He reaches into his satchel and begins lifting out carefully wrapped white packages stained with dark spots. You said you were a student at the Pt.1 Academy, correct? The epicenter of the plague. Yeah. I was under the impression that they studied 3 kinds of physiomancy there. Vessels, augmentation, and regeneration. Is that right? Yeah, they studied all 3. How did you know that? I thought about attending Pt.1 once, back when I was thinking about where to study. Wait, you're a physiomancer? I started as one, shouldn't be a surprise. I did open you up like a pumpkin and scoop out all your guts, and you're still talking to me. Right. I learned enough of it to survive this nasty little disease you and your mentor crafted, but in truth, my preferred area of study is a little more esoteric, a bit more experimental. I don't usually mess with flesh anymore. What is it? Necromancy. You heard the term before, but all I can remember is that as some obscure immortality practice having to do with heavy mathematics. However, I've come to realize that no matter how talented or cunning I am, I'm still stuck in this devilishly handsome body. And thanks to you, nobody is going to survive in this day and age for long. So that leaves me with one option. Leave. Where are you going to go? Bad question. I bet I want to be asked when I'm going to go. What are you talking about? Why sighs and continues to work on organs and ribcage. He silently hands you a small scalpel and motions for you to hold it. Every school of immortality fights against the march of time. Bodies decay, minds go mad, everything fades in time, right? I'm not trying to fight time. I'm trying to slip through the cracks of it. For a moment, the man seems to jitter in place, as if his body forgot where it was and froze while trying to catch up with his movements. The man stitches up your abdomen and pats your chest. All better. New hearts, lungs, kidneys. Stronger ones, too. Yours were disgusting. You lift your head and look down at your chest, then feel your torso. A line of flesh stitches runs up your skin, still tender to a touch. There's no way someone could replace all those organs that quickly. It'd take hours to get them all hooked up again, not a few minutes. Something is deeply wrong here, but you can't tell what. Alright. Thanks. I'm gonna get going now. No, we're not done here. His words cut through yours like a scalpel, which you now realize is missing from your hand. I need you for something. What do you need me for? At the school you went to, you probably met some talented, knowledgeable people, right? Sure. I need those people, or rather they're ghosts, and you're going to go get them for me. Why do you need them? Aren't you a physiomancer too? I never actually finished my education in physiomancy. I abandoned it in favor of chronomancy. I'm an excellent surgeon, but I neglected the other aspects. Which in hindsight was a mistake, but now I have you. I'm willing to bet that your classmates' ghosts have the right combination of knowledge to create the kind of body I need. Your tutor sounds like the right person, and I need two people who understand physical augmentation and migrating souls. Do I have a choice in this? An interesting question. He leans down and so his helmet is inches from your face. There is something cold and hard on your neck and glances down to see a scalpel pressed against your skin. I mean, after all I've done for you, it would be rude to refuse, wouldn't it? And if there is one thing I can't abide, it's rudeness. Let's see. I don't like being threatened, I guess. I don't like being threatened. If you want something from me, let's make a deal. Noise chuckles and lifts a scalp from your throat, then straightens up. Now you're talking my language? Yes, let's make a little deal, you and I. Do you have any happy memories? Happy times in your life? For a moment you imagine the academy and face Rue, Izagi, and Lise. Yeah, I have some happy memories. Why? Good. Now, I want you to imagine the best day of your life. Imagine waking up, living through that day, and going to sleep again. And when you wake up, you get to do it again. And when you get tired of that, you move to a different day. That's what I'm offering you. You get me those ghosts, and I can create your own happy little time loop. Once you're in there, do whatever you want. Say something different, do something different. See how things would have played out. You furrow your brows. You've never heard of anything like that what he's describing. You can do that? Absolutely. Chronomancy is the art of reshaping time. And I'm the only one of the people out there who hasn't gone insane mastering it. This still sounds far too good to be true, but you decide to play along. Okay, I'm interested. But I want proof you can do it. The loop thing. I want to be sure. Fine. You want a demonstration? Get up. Pull up your sleeve. You get to your feet, grunting with pain from your stitches. You pull up your coat sleeve and no eyes grips your arm with both hands, then mutters a spell under his breath. As you watch, a black design begins to etch itself into your skin. A circle. 3 circles inside of it. Then dozens more tiny circles from the blank spaces inside. This is a little different, but it'll prove I'm not lying to you about my abilities. As long as you have this enchantment on you, all you have to do is save the game and go about your business. At any point, you can decide you don't like how things played out and load a saved game. And you'll be back where you were before. Go ahead, try it. Got it? Noise reaches into his satchel and pulls an old rusty flintlock pistol, which he immediately levels at your head. I have to save. As he pulls the trigger, you duck your head. There's a loud crack and the bullet hits the books behind you, from a cloud of dust. Nicely done. Looks like you found a reason to live. Nice puts away the smoking pistol, claps you on the shoulder. Now, if we're going to be partners in this little endeavor, I think we should be honest with one another. Honesty is the foundation of trust.
Okay. What do you want to be honest about?
I lied about replacing your heart. You clutch at your chest, trying to feel the beat of your heart. Instead of a steady rhythm in your ribcage, you feel nothing. Then how am I alive? Let's talk about that after you sign the contract, huh? I suppose a scroll from his satchel, along with a ragged black quill. He unrolls the parchment, just to reveal it to be blank. He whispers a few words. The page fills with black, spiry writing whose paragraphs fit together like a miniature labyrinth. I never liked handshake agreements. Too informal. Contracts are much safer for both interested parties. All you have to do is sign at the bottom. It just says they're going to bring me the souls of 3 experts in artificial vessels, regeneration, and physical augmentation. And I, in return, will grant you the ability to move across your life's timeline, etc., etc. Your eyes run over the dense, crumpled lines of a lot of writing. The creaky lots and complex web of footnotes and nested clauses and subclauses. However, one passage catches your eye. Breach contract. If the contractor violates the required terms, then willfully and unwillingly, they cede the rights to free will and autonomy. The employer will use whatever means, magical or mundane, to assert and maintain control of the contractor until the job is complete. Just in case you have any second thoughts while you're out on your own. That won't be a problem, will it? Then that's what the hardest for, you realize. You've heard stories of mages stealing people's hair and blood to gain power with them. It's old taboo magic that no one teaches anymore. You're gonna steal my heart while making me sign. You could control me like a puppet, couldn't you? I don't want a puppet. Puppets aren't convincing enough. Besides, I thought we were maintaining the pretense of being friends. Not convincing enough? Convincing enough for what, you wonder? You skim over the rest of the contract. Your eyes become to rest on compensation. The contractor will receive custom-made enchantment created by the employer that will allow them to relive chosen periods within their life at will. The pointed quill hovers over the signing space. You look up at Noise, who's watching you with his unchanging grin. I know there's something buried in this contract. Something else that's going to screw me over. You've hidden it somewhere. Well, that's paranoia talking, which, though admirable, is misguided. I could have screwed you over 6 different ways with that contract anyway. But we're friends, remember? If you sign that, we're both getting exactly what we want, and nothing else. Look at No Eyes for a few seconds, searching his words for any trace of subterfuge. Can't find any, but that just makes me more worried. Are you lying to me? No, I wouldn't lie to you. Not about this. His words sound sincere, almost melancholy. It's unexpected. Look down at the contract and sign your name, then hand it back to No Eyes. Thank you. Said if we're going to do this, we have to trust each other. Can I ask you a question? Fire away. Let's see. What are you gonna do with the ghost? Alright, so after I bring you these ghosts and get what you need from them, what are you going to do with them? Ah. Well, I'm gonna get pretty hungry while I travel around it for eternity, and crackers aren't going to cut it. What do you... You're going to eat them? Single human soul starts to fray after an eternity or so. I need someone else to act as raw material to repair mine. Trust me, you won't care. As soon as we get you squared away, this holy reality is going to be a moot point. In this alternate world, the time loop version of my life, will all the people be there, even the ones I give to you? Souls can't be destroyed retroactively. Even if I eat them, it won't hurt them in the past. You feel a pang of guilt and tear at the idea of handing your friends' souls over to be consumed, but the world you'll inhabit will be just as real as this one. They'll be there waiting for you, safe and sound. Alright. Anything else? Right, your heart. That's a new little trick I picked up a while ago. Noise snaps his fingers and opens his palm. The heart appears in his hand, still flexing and retracting, making a sucking noise. Once you understand time, you can displace things in it. As far as your body is concerned, your heart is where it should be, doing what hearts do. Blood keeps circulating, but if I opened you up again, there'd just be a heart-shaped hole where it should be. Trust me, you're better off with it inside your ribcage. I'll take good care of it. Anything else? I want to know more about you. Wise chuckles to himself and spreads his hand wide. About me? I've made it this far in life by not giving away details about me or my past, and I'm not going to start now. Why do you think I wear a mask? I told you about my past. I've been told anyone that stuff before. Besides, we're friends, aren't we? Fine. If you want to know what I did after I learned basic necromancy, I put a bullet in my head so I could relive my life. Not a little time loop, where I was in control. I relived my whole life from birth. I did that 5 more times before I mastered necromancy. Once I was finished, I went back one last time. I went and tracked down my old colleagues, the one who ridiculed me and ruined me. I made them understand what I accomplished. Now, those people don't exist anymore. They never existed here or anywhere. I'm the only one that still remembers them, and sooner or later, they wouldn't have that. That's who I am. I see. Anything else? Nothing else. Well, I'm glad we had this chat. I feel like we're close already. Take this. Gonna need it for the souls. He reaches into the satchel and tosses you a leather-bound book studded with steel fittings and a small worn lock. Grimoire. Best way to keep the ghosts sealed once you capture them. I want that back in one piece. Sentimental value. I did have one more question, actually. Oh, for the love of... Fine, go on. If it's about me or my past again, I'm going to squeeze your lungs until you shut up. It's about what you said earlier. About why you didn't want a puppet. City needs someone who could be convincing. What did you mean, convincing? Ah, I take it you've never captured a ghost before. Never dealt with the haunting or restless spirit. No. But I know there are rituals you can use to trap them and kiss some. Good necromancers don't need those. Then how do they capture ghosts? They talk to them. They calm them down, lull them into trusting them, and then convince the ghosts to get in their grimoire. Ghosts want things. That's why they're still ghosts. Some want to forget the past, others want safety, and some of them just want a friend. You know these people, right? These former classmates of yours. If they recognize you, trust you, all you have to do is talk them into it. If that doesn't work, trick them, threaten them, scare them. They're just people after all. And people can be manipulated. I feel like there's something you'd be much better at. It's easier than it looks. Now get going. I got some books I want to track down while I'm here. If you need me, just write something in Grimoire. I'll write back when I get a chance. You'll write back? What does he mean by that? Alright, I'll head out then. You get up the bedroll, backpack, and lantern, and the rest of the things while Noise browses the shelves. When everything's been packed up, you'll have your backpack and slip the straps over your shoulders. Goodbye. Good luck. Safe travels. Farewell. And come back alive, or I'll kill you. You start walking down the aisle, looking up at the fireflies silently floating above your head. There's a question that's been nagging you since Snow Eyes suggested finding the ghosts of your classmates. You turn around and look back to where No Eyes was standing. What if they don't? Your words trail off as you gaze down the empty aisle. No Eyes is gone. What if they don't want to see me again? As you walk out the giant gates of the library, you find yourself facing the yawning dark cavern beyond. You kneel down and take out your lantern. After a few seconds struggling to get the match to strike, it bursts into flickering light and comes out the cobblestones beneath your feet. When you lift up the lantern, you can see the faint outline of buildings looming around you, along with empty windows and piles of refuse. Lazula, you think. The city was ruined decades before the plague hit. 2 centuries ago, it was just a jewel of the underground. One by one, however, lies went out as people migrated to the surface, leaving only a lonely few down there. You've heard stories about the last people who stayed down there, and they slowly went mad from the loneliness and the dark. Some can tell the difference between the darkness of the caves and the darkness created by closing their eyes. You walk up the street, guiding yourself by memory to the western quarter of the city. After spending 5 years down here, you can understand how silence and darkness can serve as a medium for thought. You have plenty of time to practice reconstructing your memories, the shape of people's faces or the pitches of their voices. Find one of the old railings that runs along the street, and it's to guide you down the path that leads to the grand staircase. You descended the staircase 5 years ago when you were running from the plague above. You never expected to climb to the surface again. As you walk, you dim your lantern and close your eyes, letting the railing under your hand guide you. Memories are the only thing left down here, you think to yourself. Reach back into your mind and sort through the chronology of your time at Pt.1. You grimace as you think about your second week there. By the second week at Pt.1, you began to realize how differently the Academy handled courses of study. First was the instructors. Instead of different teachers for different subjects, each class of students learned all their subjects from the same teacher. Second, instead of having entry-level courses with only first-year students of all different years attend your classes. Instructors would deliver lectures that were half directed at junior students, half at senior ones, mixing the lesson to the messy collage. Some students were already advanced in one every study, but were learning the basics of another in your class. As not part of Pt.1's rhizomatic style of teaching, every student learned about all the dimensions of physiognomy holistically. In theory, everything was supposed to weave together as a beautiful tapestry of knowledge. In practice, it was a nightmare. You came to Rue's office early in the morning, and at the end of the second week, carrying notepads full of your confused scrawlings in the hope that she could sort it all out. And I think I will stop here for today. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and if you're interested in this visual novel, please take a look at the links down below so you can learn more about it, or maybe take a look if there's any updates for the demos. Anyways, thank you, take care.